Modern life has undoubtedly given us the fastest means of communication, high speed transportation, better healthcare services, so many ways of entertainment, more avenues of profession, and so on. But when you move towards the light, the shadow behind you will enlarge certainly. Modern life, if it gives us something from one hand, then it also takes away something from another hand. New set of complication includes lifestyle related diseases like obesity, hypertension, diabetes, covetousness for money, social distress, addictions of pornography and alcohol, fierce competition for limited resources and opportunities. Recently I discovered principles or virtue of a Hellenistic school philosophy known as Stoicism. Practicing Stoicism has brought tremendous positivity in my life. Here I am going to share this experience with you. Maybe you also find it equally beneficial. Wisdom suggests us to define things we cannot control, like death, natural disaster like tornado, volcanic eruption, and an epidemic breakout. Then we should define the things we can control, like our outlook, our worldview, emotional control, and our actions. I had quite an emotional question, due to which I was affected by almost everything happening around me. I felt gloomy whenever I saw people with different opinions and ideologies mocking each other. Half of the people I talked to were mostly scattered from xenophobia, sexism, racism, or homophobia. I felt depressed when I saw increasing rich and poor divide, powerful preying upon powerless, development at the cost of environmental destruction, and increasing animosity between global superpower. Lately, my soul started crying for peace and solace in this mess of world. After studying about the concept of wisdom, the first thing I understood was that the only person I can change in this world is I myself. Why did I forget that I had a large empire at my disposal with 5 principal ableist ministers: Sir Brain, the master controller and coordinator; Sir Heart, the chief supplier of pure life fluid to the bodily kingdom; Dew of Lungs, dealing with the import-export of oxygen and carbon dioxide; Sir Liver, top brass food to fuel converter and distributor; and Sister Kidneys, sanitizing and making clean body from toxic fluids; and of course billions of cellular population working night and day for me. So my first priority must be the welfare of my own subjects. I developed a routine consisting basic rules of healthy living: timely waking up, practicing the sets of yoga and meditation, at least 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise like jogging or brisk walking in the nearby park, relying more on fresh fruits and wholesome vegetable instead of junk food, supplementing brain with self-improvement thoughts and ideas, and timely sleep. Regarding hate mongers, I have understood one thing, that the best way to deal with these kind of people is to do away with such people. Instead, we should interact with brilliant and positive mind. Life is short, and it is not our obligation to waste our time in reforming and educating the dimwits around. Regarding macro level issue, there are international as well as national establishments, and then there are organizations which hold these establishments accountable. To advance my dissent, there are proper channels. Boiling my blood won't change anything. Temperance. Temperance tells us to differentiate between necessities like food, shelter, education, and decent job, and then luxuries like luxurious watches, a sports car, home theater, and jewelry. Business organizations focus intensely on revenue maximization. Their marketing strategy includes linking their product or service with their subconscious desires, such as to be more powerful, more famous, more glorious, and more influential. Because of these business marketing strategy, the distinction between the necessities and luxuries seems to be blurred. Often, something enticing becomes the focus of our consciousness, which barely remains significant once we get its position. The fulfillment results in momentary gratification, and non-fulfillment yields frustration, of course. and this becomes a cycle. To break this deadlock, I comprehended one thing. Up to the point of time I have meal on my table, a loving family, a shelter to live in, quality education and hygienic surrounding, I am almost complete. If I feel like having anything else, I follow a simple algorithm. I identify whether it's a need or just a want. A need has to be fulfilled, but if it's a want, then I compare its cost and value with the gratification it is going to give. If the gratification is much lesser than the cost and value, I abstain from buying it. Next virtue is courage, to stand by your values and to face adversities with heroic spirit. When I contemplated my thoughts, I realized that somewhere behind my mind, the characteristics of a happy life is monotonicity, smoothness, and ease. But lately I understood that such happiness is only possible in one state. From the day of childhood to elderliness, life is a constant tug of war between the forces which are propelling us toward our objective, goals, and forces which are holding us back. We fight a ferocious battle on two fronts, physical and psychological. On physical front, we fight to get rid of hunger, maintain professional and financial stability, etc. On psychological front, we fight to overcome our own evil tendencies like greed, lust, anger, envy, etc. So, a happy life is not the one I used to think, without troubles or hurdles. Rather, it's a cyclic process of acknowledging our problem, working out a solution, and emerge out a winner every time. Last virtue is justice. By not inflicting harm to others and doing something good for the society. Where the first part of the principle was clear to me, I always had difficulty in understanding the second part. Why am I obliged to do something for society? I mean, the world in which I am living has been created for me by my parents. I mean, either they directly fulfill my necessities or indirectly fulfill them by paying for the service I use. Then what and why am I bound to return back to society? Soon I understood that it is impossible for my father to grow crops and vegetables we eat, go to his office, and also act as a manufacturer and repair technician of various appliances and gadgets used in our house. Also, it was not possible for my mother to fabricate clothes for me, be my dedicated healthcare professional, dedicated teacher, and full-time security personnel, etc. It would neither be possible nor be sensible for everybody to produce everything required. A heart can pump a lot of blood, but it cannot metabolize the food. On the other hand, the liver and the digestive system can digest the food, but it cannot pump the blood in entire body. So every individual in our society is offering certain goods or service, and in return of a common medium of exchange such as money, the individual fulfills his own needs by taking service goods from others, and this is how society goes on. So it is indispensable for all of us to identify our vocation and then choose our profession. And while doing that, we must keep in mind that we are earning our livelihood in return of providing certain services, either directly to the customer or through an employer. So it is our moral duty to deliver our best just like the way we expect while being on a receiving end, eventually helping those who are downtrodden and dependable on us fills our own lot. And of course, protecting our environment, because the oxygen which we get free for our entire lifetime costs in thousands when received either through oxygen cylinder or ventilators in hospital.